What's up, everyone? Thanks for stopping by. You know me, distracting noise, meaning crappy videos, but great content. So, today, I think someone will beat me to answering that. Today, I want to talk about Dan Bilzerian and have a very brief message to you guys that follow guys like Dan. And in fact, there's another Dan. I think his name is Dan Locke, which is another celebrity in social media, although his message is a little different. His message is more about selling you programs to become wealthy. And so with Dan, he reminds me of that guy that in back in school would always talk about how tough he is and how he would kick everyone's ass. You know who I'm talking about. Or the guy who talks about how many girls he gets and he'll never stop talking about it. And then we know that the reality is quite the opposite. And the guy who never talks about that is really the guy who is doing stuff, right? The guy who doesn't talk about being rich is really the guy you happen to find out has some serious wealth somewhere. Or the guy who never talks about girls is the one that has more girlfriends than he can count, and he's trying to stay covert, right? So that I think is the logic here with Dan Bilzerian, and it's recently come out that he's a bit of a fraud as far as all this wealth. It's mostly on credit. It's staged. It's really meant to get you here and buying the supplements and buying into his brand and merch, and I think he's doing either vape or cannabis products. And so be careful with who you buy into in social media. I have to admit, at first, when I first came across his profiles, I took it at face value, and I thought, sure, this is great. I mean, what an awesome life, right? All young men dream of this stuff, right? A ton of money, a ton of girls. The guy's built like a truck. He has been on interviews with Joe Rogan talking about his testosterone replacement therapy, so we know what that means. And so it looks great, right? It looks fantastic. But it's just not real. A big percentage of this is staged, and you really have to start looking deeper if you are spending too much time looking at guys like Bilzerian or even Locke, and there's a whole bunch others that I don't want to get into. But my message today is this. If you want someone to look up to, if you want someone to follow and just, you're going to be the biggest fan of this person, just look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, and that's the person you're going to be following. Because if you're a young man buying into this stuff, I'm gonna refer to you to something really interesting. I don't know if you've heard of Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett is one of the most successful investors of our time. Borrowed some money from friends and family, invested in stocks and built companies, and he is a multi-billionaire now. But in an interview, in a video that I saw of him talking to a college class, he asked a very serious question, and he said, you all are actually more wealthy than I am right now, because at 90 years old, not one person in this room would trade places with me. Think about that. whether you're broke or you have a good income or you're getting that wealth together. Think about what he said, and no one raised their hand, by the way. It's on YouTube somewhere. I'm sure you can find it. How interesting is that a multi-billionaire would say, "I'll trade places with you right now," and you wouldn't take him up on it? Because the reality is, if you're a young man watching this video, you are wealthier than Warren Buffett right now. Because the time you have ahead of you is worth more than, I don't know how many billions he has, but let's say it's $100 billion. Let's say it's 10, 20. Let's say it's more money than you can ever spend in your lifetime. Chances are you wouldn't trade places with him right now. He's 90 years old. You're probably in your early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, I don't know. And so think about that. When you're spending too much time watching the Dan Locks or the Dan Bilzerians, and again, there's so many more of these guys out in social media, turn that off, look in the mirror, and realize that you have more wealth right now than Warren Buffett. So go take advantage of it. Go do things that you enjoy. Go get good at things that you enjoy. And stop buying into some of these guys. If you look carefully at a lot of the images, and I won't do that on this video, we can be here all day. I was really looking at some of the pictures through Dan Bilzerian's Instagram. And if you look carefully and you start spotting some of the staging elements, it's actually pretty sad. I know some of you are gonna say, "Oh, you're just a old bitter guy who's jealous." I promise you that's not the case. But if you look carefully and you start seeing some of the cues, some of the faces, some of the repetition, you might see what I'm talking about. So anyway, I won't blab on. I think this video is long enough, and I made my point. Remember, you already have that wealth, so look in the mirror, follow yourself, and have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Don't buy into those guys anymore. Peace out.